Hi everybody, this is Tanishka, and I was impulsed to do a video. As I film this, the sun is in Pisces, so you might be feeling very tired at the moment. You know, it's the sign of the mystic ruled by Neptune, the planet of sleep. So this is a time for really vivid dreams, but we're coming up to full moon in Virgo. And full moon in Virgo is the sign of the priestess, the sign of the priest. It's about us honoring our temple as sacred and honoring ourselves as sacred beings. So I would like to specifically speak about the ceremonies and the workshops that I'm directed to be focusing on as my offering to the global family this year. First of all, the forgiveness ceremony. We did this in Ubud, and I got guidance to take it around the world, and it was such a powerful ceremony, not just for the sisters but for the brothers. But what was profound was that women came up to me afterwards saying, these men exist. And I want to speak to that because for years, well, the last 23 years, I've focused on facilitating women, helping women to really step into their feminine essence, their feminine power, and to heal. And, you know, there's 3 stages on that journey of feminine empowerment. And those 3 stages really impact the dance of relationship. So if we're stuck in first stage womanhood, if we haven't been initiated into the mysteries, we have very dysfunctional relationships. And, you know, for most of us, this is what we grew up observing in our mums. And so it's appropriate that we then repeat those lessons so we can see through the eyes of an adult how those wounds occurred. And that's a valid part of the journey. But then when we're initiated into women's mysteries, into sitting in circles, speaking our truth, and becoming more and more accountable for owning our shadow being our unconscious thoughts, our unconscious behavioral patterns, we then step into the second stage of our feminine empowerment. And this is wonderful, and this is where we've got a real groundswell happening on the planet right now. You know, the Red Tent course alone that I've created has trained women in 44 countries. Women are gathering, and it's very, very exciting. However, a lot of women that are in this second stage womanhood are operating out of their masculine, okay? So they've rejected what they see as the weaknesses of the feminine, and so they can be dominating their partners and leading in the dance of relationship, and also hold stories that, you know, men just need to be mothered, or men are all little boys, or, you know, there are no men out there doing the work of personal growth. And the more we hold these stories in the holographic universe, the more we attract proof that that is true. And so, and I've journeyed this personally as well as with my sisters for many, many years, feeling let down by men, and feeling frustrated, consciously putting out for a conscious relationship, but at the same time not realizing where I was sabotaging it by the unconscious thought patterns, the thought forms, the stories that I was holding in my field. And so if we want to shift that, okay, if we want to heal that, it means that we need to take it up a level, literally. And we have to risk stepping into mixed circles, okay? Circles where we sit with the brothers in a spirit of brotherly, sisterly love and own our shadow. So by that, I mean directly, rather than seeing ourselves as the victim, yeah, running those stories about what men have done to us, how we've been hurt by men. And you know, there's many stats to back it up about, you know, the rates of domestic violence and all of that. But the more we run those stories, the more we keep the old paradigm in place. So these forgiveness ceremonies that I'm facilitating with my partner, Franz, you know, this is why we've come together, okay, to offer this work to the global family. And I was at 5 Rhythms on Sunday, and I got taken into a deep trance journey. And in that journey, I connected with the one heart and the fragility of the one heart in our global family, and how much grief is sitting in that. How much grief is sitting in that heart of all the sisters and brothers on the planet around relationship, and around how we're trying so hard to get that dance right so that it's healthy, so that it's mutually honoring, because we see the cost of it on ourselves and on our children. So the ceremony that we're doing, the forgiveness ceremony, it is not about asking for forgiveness, okay? It is simply honoring that we're taking responsibility, we're being accountable for the fact that we have also hurt the opposite gender through our unconscious words, through our unconscious actions. And, you know, I have walked this, yeah? I have denigrated my ex-husband to my daughter, and now I'm, you know, wearing the repercussions of that. My mother did it to me. So, you know, often this is endemic generationally, but it stops with us. And ceremony is very, very powerful. Never underestimate the power of what we do in ceremony. It ripples out in all dimensions, in all worlds. So this is an invitation, wherever you are on the planet, to come, and we will, you know, come wherever there is support, wherever we're embraced. We will come and do these ceremonies, but we do need your support. We need your support to help get the word out. We need your support to help, you know, with setup and pack up. We're just covering costs, yeah, and as you can imagine, touring around the world, there's a lot of costs. So I'm asking the collective sisterhood and brotherhood to support us in, you know, providing this container for us to share our grief and to be baptized by our tears, to be seen in our fragility by our opposite, to have an opportunity to step into our power by owning where we were not in our power, and in doing that, take our power back. So that's the forgiveness ceremony. It's a 4-hour event where the men and the women are facilitated separately and prepared before we step into mixed circle. And in that mixed circle, there is an opportunity to have all the hurts that have been caused by men to you personally cleansed by a brother, you know, offering you pure, sincere brotherly love on behalf of all men. And this anchors on every level of your morphic field, so that you can no longer run the story of men are all this or men are all that, so that you're opening up to a new possibility to call in a dance with the masculine, be it the masculine in a woman if you're lesbian, or the masculine energy in a man if you're heterosexual. We're all feminine masculine. The other event that we're doing is a Sacred Union workshop. Now, this is not a couples workshop. As soon as people hear Sacred Union, they often assume, oh, it's couples and I'm single, so it's not for me. Sacred Union is a state of being. So if we are not understanding how to live in a state of sacred union with ourselves, with our sisters, with our brothers, with the cycles, we cannot manifest it in intimacy. And the big thing in preparing these workshops that has surfaced for myself and Franz is that what we most need to do is to dismantle, to decode, to deconstruct the shadow dance that happens in 99.9% of relationships on the planet, in that dance between the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine. So even if you have done women's mysteries, as I have for decades, I'm still enacting that in my relationship, okay? It really is universal, but the trick is to see how it plays out, to really understand those dynamics and those patterns when we slip down into second stage or first stage womanhood, so that we can get ourselves out rather than have the dynamic of the relationship spiral into, you know, warring with your opposite. Some of the hallmarks, you know, if you're in a relationship where you tend to be living separate lives, so you get more of your emotional needs met by the women in your life rather than expecting that from your partner, come to this workshop to find out how you can shift that. You know, if you're in a relationship with a partner that won't work on themselves, come to the workshop. We will specifically look at that. If you're in a relationship where you're always dominated or where you're always attracting the same type of partner, again, we will explore why that happens. Because, you know, so many people are hiding out from relationship, as I was, in independence. Yeah, and when we do that, we're just afraid of being re-wounded. And it is absolutely, you know, unavoidable that intimacy brings up our wounds. That is the nature of it. So we need to understand when we get into that how to navigate it in a safe and healthy way so that we're not re-wounding each other, but relationship becomes a container for mutual growth and healing. So if any of that resonates with your soul, this is the time for the beloveds to come together, for us to heal separation between opposite polarities, including feminine, masculine on the planet, regardless of your gender identification or gender preference. I'll put the link up for the Australian tour. If you're somewhere else in the world, we're coming to Europe. We're doing events in Switzerland, Spain, France, and Greece in April and May. We're doing events in the USA in July, and then we're coming back to do events in Asia in September, and then we finish the tour in October in Brisbane, Australia. So if you would like to offer your assistance to help promote, support in any way, we would be so grateful if you could send us an email at admin@themoonwoman.com. And the cities we're touring in March in Australia are Perth, Sydney, Adelaide, and Melbourne. And again, we would love your support if you've got it to give. All right. Thank you. Have a blessed week. The energies are intensifying. And I'll specifically speak to the full moon energies in a separate video. But blessings on your day.